Welcome to Mash on This, Mashable's daily culture and entertainment show that gives you tomorrow's biggest news stories today. I'm your host, Sharon Tay, with multiple bidets, also known as Dory Greenberg. On Mash on This, we give you a quick rundown of what we think is the best the internet has to offer. Be sure to tell us what you think in the comments, and we'll get to them at the end of the show. Don't be shy. I want to hear what you think. Now, let's get into it, shall we? There was a wee bit of an upset yesterday in jolly old England, I'm sorry, when the Conservative Party lost the majority of seats in Parliament as a result of the country's general election, leading people to call for Theresa May's resignation and also what's called a hung Parliament. But this election was especially historic because more women than ever before have been elected as members of Parliament, or as the Brits call them, MPs. At least 207 female MPs were voted in, beating the previous record of 196 from the 2015 general election. However, in the grand scheme of things, there is still a lot of progress to be made, since these 207 women only make up 32% of Parliament. And even though Theresa May is insisting on staying in power, we are still glad that these lady MPs came out on top. Huzzah! If you're a regular viewer of this show, you might have noticed that we didn't have a Mash on This yesterday because we were literally glued to the TV watching James Comey's testimony. I'm still feeling a little sticky today, if you're curious. But while many people were busy live tweeting all the truth bombs that the former FBI director was dropping, there was one person who was very noticeably silent during the entire broadcast. And that person, of course, was Donald Trump. You could almost feel the silence in a weird way, mostly because reading a Trump tweet feels like that annoying kid from the 3rd grade just like pinching you on the back of the arm. But we all knew this silence was not going to last. So when Trump posted a predictable, angry, and confusing tweet about Comey this morning, nobody was really that surprised. Naturally, the only phrasing that Trump could muster up is a series of name-calling and inflated self-congratulations. And in more shocker to zero people news, 45 minutes after his Comey reaction, he tweeted a thank you message to Fox News for their so-called great reporting. But what I really want to know is to what lengths his staff had to go to in order to prevent Trump from tweeting for a full 24 hours. Was his phone physically removed from his incredibly tiny hands and hidden somewhere in the library, like the least likely place he would be in the White House? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. In case you've been asleep since 1999, hackers are a thing. And not only do they continue to exist online, but they now are employing a specific tactic on Twitter with the intention of spreading misinformation. It's called double switch, and it involves taking over an account, switching the username, and then creating a brand new account under the original username with the same profile picture, Twitter handle. It all looks the same. This leaves the original user unable to recover the original account because they do not know what their old account's new account name is. And their original account name is now registered to the hacker. They're doing Lord knows what with it. This is a very tricky move, and one that has plagued many good-natured people like human rights activists in Venezuela and Bahrain. So, how do us common folk stop this from happening? Our business reporter Carrie Flynn says two-factor authentication, where you have to use another device to approve your sign-in. And while we all know how annoying two-factor authentication can be, it is your best bet if you want to keep your Twitter name from 2008 safe from hackers. So, just get into it. About this time last year, people were collectively freaking out about the Zika virus. And many of these people were women who might be pregnant, since the virus has a high risk of causing birth defects like small heads in babies, otherwise known as microcephaly. And now, a new report released by the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention states that 5% of pregnant women who had the Zika virus in U.S. territories between January 1st, 2016 and this past April gave birth to babies with microcephaly. Additionally, other serious birth defects such as brain abnormalities and vision problems were recorded in 1 in every 12 babies who were born to pregnant women with the Zika virus during their first trimester. For more low-key frightening details about this story, definitely check out Maria Gallucci's article on Mashable.com. And for any ladies who are even thinking of getting pregnant soon, do not leave home without that DEET this summer. You're gonna need it. Now, you might be surprised to hear this, but I in fact do not have male genitalia. And because of this, I truly don't know what it's like to sit down while toting around the family jewels. Nevertheless, this does not excuse the egregious and disrespectful act of manspreading, wherein a man sits with his legs spread so wide that it almost looks like he's trying to give birth Mr. Mom style. New York City has taken a stand against manspreading, and now another major metropolitan city is making a public effort to stop these subtly aggressive acts. Madrid's municipal transportation company has now banned manspreading from all buses in the city, with signs featuring this image. There is truly nothing worse than some guy hogging 3 seats on public transportation. And now both senors and senoras will be able to have a seat without worry. Bien hecho! Imagine for a second that you're witnessing a police standoff with a criminal. And instead of being really tough and intimidating, the cop was like, "Come on, man, can't we just hug it out?" That was basically the attitude of a German Shepherd named Gavel, the Australian dog who was training to be a police canine but was ultimately deemed too sociable for the front line by police trainers and was let go from the training program. Sad. However, his tail doesn't end there. Gavel's discipline training paired with his social personality made him a perfect candidate for a role in politics. Since the pooch was already being fostered at the official residence of the Queensland governor, it only made sense that he was made the vice-regal dog of Queensland. Very official. Instead of chasing down bad guys and sniffing out drugs, Gavel now spends his time attending functions and welcoming guests to Queensland's government house. And if you ask me, the lap of luxury suits him well, because dogs like laps.